Welcome to Vin and Mike, episode 82. And we got the funk now. Go ahead, Mike, keep playing it. Hey.
You guys should see him at the bar, these dance moves. Ladies, run away, run away.
Everyone's gone. Everyone's taking off.
Vin and Mike, what's going on, Vin?
What's up? Happy July. It's been a whole like 3 weeks or something since we've been on vacations and holidays and sick days and every days, but we're back. It's on a Wednesday. I don't know if we've ever done a show on a Wednesday.
Rarely. We're usually Monday, Tuesdays, or Fridays. Wednesday is rare.
Very rare, but it's a Wednesday. Happy hump day to everybody out there, especially our people, KKFI, Kansas City. I see Pat Mahomes showed up for training camp. I thought he might hold out, but, he's there. Go to our website. Look what I got, Mike, right there.
It's a great shirt. Great looking shirt, man.
You can get one of these shirts. You buy it. We get a little bit money, and we take that money and we flip it right over to a charity. So check it out, vinandmikepodcast.com. Also on there, old episodes, YouTube episodes, a bunch of other things on there. So check it out. We're really proud of the website. That's for sure. I didn't realize until the beginning of this month that we've had the website for a year already, which is crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
It's like boom, instant way. So before we jump into Yankees and Mets and Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs and Aaron Rodgers, our good buddy out there, the golf guru, has been studying. He's been really angry the last 5 weeks that he's finished in second place in every single tournament. His guy is legitimately finished second in every single tournament the last 5 weeks. So been angry, but we've made him feel a little bit better with some NASCAR picks that I threw out to him. So he's felt better with his NASCAR stuff, but he's really excited about the Open Championship. So I got him right in front of me, Mike, right here.
All right.
Some of his long shots. And I'm going to start with what he told me was his number one long shot this weekend. 100-1, Mike. 100-1. Denny McCarthy. So he's really big on Denny McCarthy. 100-1. I know he's doing some parlays of golf and NASCAR together. He's getting some big odds out there. So Denny McCarthy, 100-1. Then he's got Brian Harmon, 90-1. He's got Sam Burns, who we always like.
Oh yeah, he loves Sam Burns.
70-1 on Sammy.
Loves Sam.
He did throw out. Now it's not on his list. He just mentioned it. Justin Thomas is 80-1 because he hasn't been playing well. So he's got that, but he didn't mention him. So don't. But he did just mention that because it's Justin Thomas.
Got it.
He's got Min Woo Lee at 71.
Okay.
And then he did a boost up, Cam Smith, who I think won, I want to say he won last year, 21-1. So, these odds are big, and a lot of it, I looked at it just to, understand why. It's because Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, and John Rahm, they're 7-1, 8-1, and 10-1. So, when you have some heavy favorites, a lot of those long shots come in. They're up there. So
it's like horse racing. It's the same thing. You got to hope these favorites don't come in. That's all.
That's it.
Got to put some long shots in there.
Yeah, maybe Rory McIlroy gets hit with a golf ball on Friday and he's out of the tournament, and then you're in a good spot.
Never know. Jeez.
So, Mike, where do you want to start? I'm going to let you pick the sport. I'm going to let you pick the team. I'm going to let you pick wherever you want to start. Go ahead.
So I got to start. We haven't talked that the Jets are going to be on Hard Knocks.
Oh my gosh.
So there's been a lot of back and forth. People complaining the Jets are going to be in the spotlight. This is going to take the momentum away. Bottom line is when you have a premier quarterback like Aaron Rodgers and you play in New York, all the media attention is going to be on you anyway. So for those people who are talking about it and are disappointed about it, just get over it. It's going to be a lot of fun. The last time they were on it was Rex Ryan, and you wanted to get a snack, and it was a lot of fun. And that year, actually, they got all the way to the AFC Championship game. So hopefully it will be reminiscent of that. But I just say, let it go. I know the Jets are going to be – Saleh wasn't thrilled with it. He wants to keep his team under scope. But to me, it's good. I like this recognition for the Jets. This year is different than other years. Now you have a core. You have a QB. It's exciting. Let's get this going. What do you feel, Vin?
Yeah, I mean, so there's certain parameters that have to take place for you to be on Hard Knocks. You have no choice as an NFL team. It's just part of the thing. So the Jets were one of 4 teams that could have been on Hard Knocks this season based on, those parameters. And, of course, they're going to choose the Jets over, like, the Commanders, and I forget who the other teams were. I think the Lions might have been one of them. But they're going to choose the Jets. It's New York. It's Aaron Rodgers. Another point for you, Mike, is when the Jets were on Hard Knocks last time, the Packers won the Super Bowl, and Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback. So, maybe that's you feel a little mojo with that. But
gotta get those vibes.
I think it's great for the NFL. It's starting, I think they said August 6th, 8th, something like that. I just saw it on TV the other day, early August. They're in camp today, right? Aaron Rodgers showed up in his shorts and his T-shirt, as it's like 150 here in New York with the humidity. So, the New York, New Jersey area, because they're in Florham Park. But still, listen, it is freaking ridiculously humid and hot. The whole country is on fire, by the way. Phoenix, it's been 110, 19 straight days. I mean, like crazy stuff going on with the weather. But that's a whole other topic. But I think it's good for football. I think it's going to be great for the Jets. And knowing that, the spotlight's on you to begin with in New York. And the fan base is always hyped up here, when it comes to the Jets. But this is a whole different kind of attention. This is a national attention. Rodgers been talked about on ESPN, FS1, all winter, right? We talked about it multiple times. The trade, up to the draft. It's been in the spotlight forever. We had multiple guests on that we talked about it. Over the last 3 to 6 months. So that spotlight's going to be there on a national level. So just get it started early. Get in there.
That's what I feel.
And then watch the show. Enjoy it a little bit. See what your team's doing. See what Robert Saleh's, putting out there. See what Rodgers is doing, how he's working with some of the core guys, the young guys. That's what you want to see. You want to see how Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore are working with, Aaron Rodgers, right? Those are the things that you're excited about. And it's just exciting when you can go on your Instagram and pull up your team and have pictures of them and videos of them walking into training camp. And the NFL season is 50 days away, from today. So it's our time. It's getting exciting, and we're getting pumped up. I know I am.
Yeah, that's our time for sure. I love our pick show. We always have fun with that.
We have a few picks. Try to get some other guests on with us this year to do some picks with us and all that kind of jazzy stuff. So we're excited about that.
Can you imagine the dynamic that the opening night Jets Bills, Josh Allen,
September 11th. 9/11, the whole, the whole thing. It's a good way to end that kind of day with a Monday Night Football game like that, right? It really, gets everyone back into that feeling good mode again, and it's just something that's great for the country. We still think about that day like it's yesterday. Sometimes, as where I get dropped off on the train, I'm right there on ground zero all the time. So it's always in your head, no matter what. There's certain things that you walk around. So to have a football game, and I always think of sports. I think of Mike Piazza's home run, in the first home Met game after 9/11 and how that sparked and how that whole baseball season and the Yankees, even though they lost that World Series, but just getting there and driving, the whole thing and the excitement and Mr. November with Derek Jeter and all that stuff, right? Like all that stuff, is just exciting, and it just makes you feel better. So, to have that game, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, week 1, big game. Like I said, those first 6 games for the Jets are so important.
Huge.
I mess around and saying 0-6, but in all seriousness, I don't see that. If that does happen, and then things are really going to be very crazy.
The show's going to be very depressing.
Well, it'll be an interesting, you'll probably have about 15-minute rants, to start shows, and I'll just sit here and laugh, because, I probably won't laugh. I'll just go, now you know how it feels to be a Raiders fan as we're on our way to 0-17. I'm just letting you know.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Listen, I have no optimism at all. There's zero. Our best player, Josh Jacobs from last year, is probably not going to play football for us this year.
You don't think Jimmy G's going to take you to the –
Jimmy G might not be able to play. He has a clause in his contract over his broken foot or elbow, whatever he's got. He's still got arthritis in there or something.
Okay.
I think Brian Hoyer is going to be our starting quarterback week 1. It's just a disaster. I don't, all right, I'm going to go. Here we go. They didn't pick up Josh Jacobs' 5th-year option, going into last year. So they were just like, all right, we're going to let him play and let him go to free agency, right? So he has this monster year, really, does great things for the team. McDaniels got away from his multi-running back philosophy, really used Jacobs a lot. And then, time comes and they franchise tag the guy, which I get, just to work out something, but they don't work out a long-term deal. And, running backs are probably, not valued where they used to be, right? And that's a big thing, especially when you see Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady winning Super Bowls every year, right? That's, those are the guys that have won Super Bowls over the last, 10 years, right? And it has nothing to do with running backs anymore. It's no longer Emmitt Smith and Marcus Allen and those kind of years of things, right? It's Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow and the next guys up. Yeah, it's just a different league. So are they undervalued? I don't know if that's the right term. I think they're just a different value now, right? Because when you can have Isaiah Pacheco and Kenneth Gainwell as your number 1 backs and win and be in Super Bowls and win Super Bowls, it's a whole different story. That's what it comes down to, and that's the problem. But the Raiders are more built on Josh Jacobs and running the ball and then having Jimmy G manage the game. And you don't bring in the guy that's going to be the workhorse. What's Jimmy G managing? He's going to have to play from behind in a lot of games now, it feels like. So you have that goes on. And I'll segue into Saquon Barkley. I think the Giants are making a huge mistake. It's a huge mistake. Daniel Jones was a good running quarterback. He was not a good quarterback making plays down the field kind of quarterback. And Barkley was the guy you want to give the ball to, and then things get offset when, Jones can do other things. He can play action. He can, sneak out, and end around because he can use his legs. He can move. Now you take away all that stuff, and then, which way do you go? Now, both teams probably are looking at it and go, all right, if these guys aren't going to hold out, Dalvin Cook's out here. We'll just sign Dalvin Cook to a 1-year deal. I mean, that's a possibility too. I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe what's some of your thoughts on it, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, what he provided to that organization was tremendous, and they didn't have a lot going on. I mean, he was the go-to guy for running back. How can you not come to a decision with that?
I don't know.
How is that possible with a player like that?
Uh-huh.
It's not like he was middle of the road. He was the main contributor He won games for them single-handedly.
Yeah.
How is that not possible? You're giving these quarterbacks huge deals, right? As we talked about.
Yeah.
You got to take care of your players.
Especially if you don't have a number one quarterback. Like, listen, Daniel Jones and Jimmy Garoppolo are solid, serviceable NFL quarterbacks. That's what they are.
Mhm.
Who's the guys that are really, the playmakers on those teams is those running backs. It's like San Francisco. Brock Purdy's nice. We don't know what he's going to be. We're not sure if he's going to turn into a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He had a nice run, got hurt, right? So we're not sure. So Christian McCaffrey is like the beast there, and he's paid like that. And Deebo Samuel, right? Like they make sure like they have all those guys, and that's the way I look at it. And now you've taken your team and potentially like thrown it out the back door, right? Like said, okay, we don't need these guys, but you do need them. You still need them.
Yeah.
So.
And I think neither side seems to have optimism at this point with a deal.
Well, the deals, they can't make it anymore, right? The deadline's passed. That's it.
Yeah.
So the deadline's over now, but neither guy signed their franchise tag. So they don't have to go to training camp at all, right? They don't get paid. They're not on the contract. So they could basically sit out the whole season. So, and again, I don't blame them. They're looking to get their optimal dollar, and the franchise tag is there for them. Right. So it's basically up to them if they want to play football. But if I look at the history, Le'Veon Bell sat out the whole season with that whole thing and never was the same running back afterwards. Never was the same player.
Do you remember when we talked about the whole Daniel Jones contract and we're like, this is insane? Mm-hmm. Well, that whole thing changed everything.
Yeah.
Changed everything.
Yeah. And again, they made the decision to long-term deal Daniel Jones and not Saquon Barkley. They made that decision. They basically chose Daniel Jones over Barkley in this whole thing. Now, they made Barkley some offers and guaranteed money wasn't where it was supposed to be and all this. I know the Raiders made an offer to Jacobs, but at the end of the day, the guys are looking at, Christian McCaffrey's contract. They look at Derrick Henry's contract. They're looking at their ages compared to their age. It's all comparable. And they want similar money. It's like all these receivers, right? They all want, similar quarterbacks. Each guy keeps, signing the richest deal in the league, right? And it keeps going up and up and up. Eventually, the next guy is going to come in and get, $100 million a season. It just keeps escalating as time goes on. And that's what happens because these guys look at it. I led the league in rushing. My team won this amount of games because I was there. My value to this team is this. And when ownership or management, or whoever it is that's ultimately making that decision doesn't see the same value, this is what you got. This is what you got. And it could be a very disappointing year for the Giants, who I thought, played a really good season last year.
They were heading in the right direction.
Yeah, the defense is playing well. I thought Daniel Jones was very not much bought into the system there, right? Everything was playing well with him. Barkley was part of that, but I don't know what they're going to do now. Very just crazy. Be nice to hear from our good buddy Jeff and see what he feels about it.
I was just thinking that. I'm dying to know what he thinks.
He always has a very non-overly fan opinion, on his team because some people are very much homers and everything, and he was excited. I remember when they signed Brian Dable last year and all that, and he even said, if I remember, potentially trading Barkley last year to get some more assets so they wouldn't have to go through this, right? Because he was going to be a free agent and all this stuff. So now they're stuck here. So it's interesting to see like his foresight back then and where it turned into. Sometimes you just realize what your team's going to do and you just wait for it to happen. You hope you're wrong, but you watch your team for so many years and get to learn so much stuff that you just know that this is what they're going to end up doing.
You know what turned the Giants around? And it was Brian Dable, that first game. Remember when they went for the 2-point?
Yep. Was that Tennessee?
I forget what team it was against.
I want to say it was Tennessee because I have a feeling
it was
like Vrabel in the back of my head.
It was a road game, and it really set the precedent for the season. Yeah. That game pretty much to me set up the whole year for the Giants.
Yeah, week one tone, right? We're no longer that team anymore, right? We're coming out, we're putting it on the line here. Was it the right decision? He didn't care. He wanted his team to try to win that game. He didn't want to settle for overtime and trying to figure it out. So they went for it. I think that's the new thing too, right? You see a lot of these head coaches. Fourth down is no longer what fourth down used to be. 4th and 5, teams are going for it. The Eagles on any kind of 4th and 1 just push Jalen Hurts across the line, and they did it so many times. Everyone knows it's coming, and no one can stop it, right? It's just like, and that's the new NFL. Out in Los Angeles, the Chargers, Staley, he goes for it on 4th and 30 if he could. He doesn't believe in punting. It's just like he doesn't believe in field goals. I think Doug Peterson brought some of that earlier on. I'm trying to think some of the guys that
Salah did it too to an extent. Salah, he did.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking Andy Reid has always been a forefront kind of guy, especially when you have a guy like Pat Mahomes. You're excited about going for it on 4th and 2 with from your own 30 with 1 minute and 10 seconds left. You don't fear not making it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I feel like my analogy is like how the NBA, right, back in the day had true centers, right? Yeah. And now the big men could shoot 3. As in coaching now, they had more like the Mike Ditkas in the world and the Marv Lee. They were more conservative. So if you had a 4th and 2, they were punting. It was a more conservative game back then. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
And now more so, coaches are always going for it. It's more loose. It's interesting.
Question for you, and I saw this today. It was interesting. So since Brady's left the Patriots, Belichick is 25-25 in the last 3 seasons. Do you think if he doesn't get them to that next level this year that he's, I'm not going to say get fired, but maybe told that he should retire?
Well, it's tough. I don't know what his thought process is. Obviously, like all coaches, he wants to win. I think he wants to prove a point, though, that he could win without Brady. He could take this team to the next level. And I think he's there to really see that out, because I think he would have left after the first season, right? He wants to see something get done to his legacy. That's what I think.
Yeah, I just, it's getting a little crazy, right? Every year that they are not successful, you start saying, well, what are you guys, what are you doing? Especially, I'm kind of shocked. They still don't have a real number 1 receiver, and Hopkins was there, and they just let him go to Tennessee, right? You got to get Mac Jones some kind of help there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. It reminds me of the poor Cowboys last year when they only had CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, well, Prescott likes to throw the ball over the place. Yeah. I never seen a guy that could go from 5 touchdowns, 25 for 30, 350 yards, lead his team, and then the next week come out, throw 100 yards and 3 interceptions. It's just what the hell just happened here? It's like Jekyll and Hyde with that guy. I think if Dallas does not make the NFC Championship, I think they go to the NFC Championship. I think they got to get rid of him.
It's been 7 years.
I think you got to move on.
Yeah.
He's getting close to 30. I mean, not that 30's old, but he's getting close to 30. Not everyone's Tom Brady, right? Getting close to 30. He's had some lower leg injuries that, his mobility starts going around and all that. So, I don't know. It's just very, very, very interesting to see where he's going to go. So, all right. Oh,
wait, Anthony, see this comment? Let's
go. Can you pop it up?
Our friend.
Yeah, I'll pop it up.
I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at this.
There he is.
The Bears will go from last to first. You heard it here. Maybe just aren't here, Anthony. It's maybe the only platform that is saying it.
Yeah. Well, listen, for them to do that, Fields is going to have to be fantastic. The defense is going to have to improve dramatically because they gave up a ton of points last year. I would be afraid of Detroit more than anybody, especially in that division. Detroit really looked like they were, the team to beat at the end of last year. We'll see if Jared Goff can continue it. We'll see, how Dan Campbell manages the game. I think sometimes his game management is a little shaky. Right. But they've had so many high draft picks over the years and have put so many players on the field now. I think this is their opportunity to really, take over. Now, we'll see. It's going to be up to Fields because if Fields is not good, you're not going to get anything from the Bears, and that's just the bottom line. And he knows that. He knows it. So, all right. Let's switch gears. Let's go over to baseball.
You want to depress me?
Yeah, we gotta go over it. So I just read a stat today. The last 200 games the Yankees have played. 200. Okay. They're 102 and 98. They are the symbol for an average team, and that's what they are. They are an average baseball team. And they're in a place now where they're below average. They're playing like garbage. They've lost to teams that are all below 500, lost multiple series. They've looked terrible. They make poor Garrett Cole, who pitches these phenomenal games. They don't win it for him. The bullpen all of a sudden forgot how to pitch. They make the move and switch out the hitting coach and bring Sean Casey in. And, we know they can't hit. And you can try to do whatever you want, but I don't know how much that's going to help. Right? Yeah. The big change, and I'm being calm. You can see I'm being calm.
I'm being very calm. I'm proud of you.
Brian Cashman. It's really what it comes down to. I had this conversation with our good buddy Steve there. I think you were on it, right? We were talking. Yeah. Besides Kenny Williams, right? That was the one guy we identified that's basically still with his club that hasn't won a World Series in a long time. Brian Cashman has not won a World Series in 14 years, right? It's 14 years as general manager. There's general managers that, won a World Series 5 years ago that are no longer with their teams, 10 years ago, no longer with their teams, right? Because you have to win and you have to get to the World Series and you got to win those games. Not even that haven't won since 2009. We haven't been anywhere close to it, right? I mean, it's been horrific. And I don't know who else to blame. I'm not going to blame Hal Steinbrenner because he doesn't make
those kind of decisions, right? Listen.
He makes some of the financial decisions, but I don't want to hear, the Yankees should. Listen, money doesn't do all that. Look at the Mets. They're 44 and 50 with the highest payroll in the history of sports. So money doesn't do everything. Yes, it helps. But, when you look at Atlanta and Tampa, from, small markets, right? Those are small baseball markets. Let's be fair. I know Atlanta's a major city, but it's not a huge baseball market. Tampa there's more Yankee fans living in Tampa than there's Tampa Bay fans, right? I mean, let's be real. Those are the two best teams in baseball. Yeah. Why? They got good young players, good farm systems, good scouting, bringing up guys, all the stuff, right? Signing guys early, getting them up, all the things, good pitching, young talent, the whole thing, all the things that both the Yankees and the Mets in there have both failed at. And the reason why both teams, the Yankees first are on last, and why the Mets are 6 games below 500.
Yeah.
What it comes down to. I don't want to hear Aaron Judge is going to come back and we're going to win the next 35 games in a row because Judge is back. I don't know if he's even coming back. Oh, we're going to trade for Ohtani. Well, what are you going to trade for Ohtani? What can you give them? You're going to give them a 213 hitting Anthony Volpe. That's what they want now when you could have traded him last year for Luis Castillo when he had some value. Now he's a 213 hitter who can't really play shortstop that great. Come on. Where's now all of a sudden these guys have value that let's trade them away. Last year, we can't trade away our best prospect. Oh my God. Now we have no prospects. Cabrera, he's a AAA player. He can't hit the ball past the warning track. He tries. Everything flies out to the warning track. He's got no power. He should go on to the PED Performance 1990 stuff because he's not going to be anything at this point.
No.
Peraza, we don't know. We
don't know. He had some problems, but you want to hear another crazy stat? Speaking of Ohtani, since June 4th, Ohtani 20 home runs and 136 at bats. The New York Yankees, 38 home runs and 1,168 at bats.
Yeah. Who's the Yankees home run leader on the season? Who's the Yankees home run leader?
Judge, even though he hasn't
played since June 3rd.
Exactly. And I think he has more RBIs than anybody, too.
Are you kidding me? He hasn't played in 6 weeks.
I know.
I don't think Rizzo's hit a home run since May or something, they said.
Really bad. Vinny, you hit everything you said was right. They're, if anything, a 500 ball club. And when you have all-stars like Garrett Cole pitching phenomenal and then your bullpen blows it, you're getting no hitting, what do you expect, right? You talk about the mediocrity of the Yankees the last 14 years, and for some sports franchises it's overlooked, but the Yankees are supposed to be a really prestigious sports franchise, and New York is about winning, and there's really hasn't been anything, right?
It's the same thing with the Cowboys, right? Like the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in 27 years. Now, their general manager, they can't fire because he's the owner. But where is the problem there? It's like look at both teams. Both teams are dysfunctional at the general manager position, right? Those are the prestigious teams in American sports. The Dallas Cowboys, the New York Yankees, right? The Los Angeles Lakers, who, they're doing everything they can to try to win. I mean, they won 3 years ago in the bubble, right? So those are the teams that when you look at sports, like, wow, they're supposed to be those teams. Yankees are in fail mode. Yes, they're worth $8 billion. Who cares? Who cares what they're worth? I don't care. I want to win a championship.
Course.
I'm not telling them to spend $1 billion to win a championship. I want them to get players that can play. Josh Donaldson should never have been playing this year. Forget about he's hurt and he's probably out for the year and all that, but he shouldn't have been on the team. They should have got rid of him right away. I'm glad they got rid of Aaron Hicks because he wasn't performing anymore. Whatever he does in Baltimore has nothing to do.
You're getting no one who's really stepping up. There's not one player on this team aside from Judge who's been injured most of the time, who's really stood out for the Yankees.
Again, we got Gleyber Torres. He was the biggest freaking prospect in baseball. We traded Chapman for him. Gleyber Torres is going to be the next Derek Jeter. He can't even play shortstop, first of all. He's got to play second. And he's an average ball player. He's an average ball player. He got some power, puts up some numbers, but he's whatever. Rizzo is what he is. He's a little older. He's good, good clubhouse guy, good fielder, but his bat isn't what it is. LeMahieu's bat isn't what it used to be. You can go. Harrison Bader is a good fielder, not a great hitter. Right. There's no one besides Judge, and Stanton's not a great hitter. We know this, but there's no one on this team, zero, that's a good hitter but Aaron Judge. I can't go down the line here and say, well, at least this guy, is a 280 hitter, serviceable. That we don't have anybody like that in the lineup right now. There's not a single guy like that in that entire lineup. And this team was built by Brian Cashman. It's what it comes down to. I'm not blaming Aaron Boone for this lineup because that's the lineup he has to put up. I got some problems with Aaron Boone's bullpen decisions, but that's a whole other story. It doesn't even matter at this point because they have a lineup that goes out there that can't hit. They can't hit. It's almost like you feel like you're watching the Oakland A's sometimes. It's just like you can't be the New York Yankees and not have anyone besides Aaron Judge. You got to have someone else. And
you can't keep making excuses. Like you said, when he comes back, it's going to be different. That's like the Knicks right now with the whole Embiid thing. If you get Embiid, you're going to change your whole franchise around. No, you're not. Yeah,
what are you going to – and we get Embiid, who are we trading away? Brunson and Randall?
Exactly. What are you going to do?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, we're getting Ohtani, but we had to trade Volpe and Peraza and Dominguez and this guy and that guy. Well, you know what? Ohtani becomes your only hitter again, and you have worse guys around him.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. We don't, we need multiple players at this point. We need to do a bunch of things, That's what we need to do. We need to get a left fielder. We need to get a third baseman. Those are the things they need to do. We don't need Juan Soto, and give up 7 prospects for him. We had our shot last year to do that. We could have got Luis Castillo in here. Instead, we go and get Frankie Montas, who we still haven't seen pitch. I don't know if he's going to pitch this year. And when he pitched last year, he was injured, and we traded for him. He was injured.
And Steve was rightfully so was going nuts on that, as most Yankee fans were.
Of course, because we knew he was hurt and we traded for him. Harrison Bader was hurt last year and we traded for him, and he's been on the injured list twice this season already. We gave Aaron Judge $40 million a year, knowing that he only played 2 good seasons. Again, I'm just saying, all right? It's real nice that the guy leads the team in home runs and the MVP and has the record, but he's not on the field. Is he going to get back on the field? Stanton, we know him. He's hurt every other week. So it's all these other things that start adding up too. And again, I don't want to hear about prospects anymore. We don't have any. You could trade them all. None of them count because it's been proven that these guys come up to the major league level and they're not major league all-stars. I want all-stars. I want Julio Rodriguez. I want Ronald Acuna. I want Juan Soto. Those are the prospects we have in our minor league system. Let's see what Jason Dominguez is. Bring him up and throw him in left field right now. He's 19 years old. Who cares? Right. Mike Trout was 19.
Can't get any worse than
that. Was 19. Ken Griffey Jr., A-Rod, 18, 19. If he's anything, he'll hit. Doesn't matter if he's 19 years old. Throw him out there right now and let's go. Enough.
I don't know.
I feel bad for Mets fans. I do. I feel bad for them. You spent $300 million and you're, in 12 days, you're going to be a seller. You have to sell guys. You're going to trade, Pete Alonso away or something. I hope they don't do that. But you know what I mean. They're going to end up, you're not even in a position to try to make a run. No. And again, what is the other team going to trade?
That's I think that is the comparison. The Yankees, they're in the same boat.
All right, what are you going to trade? You're going to give Justin – who's going to take Max Scherzer at $43 million a year at 120 years old?
Nobody.
Right.
You're stuck. You're stuck.
You're stuck. You paid all these guys all this money, and you can't trade nobody. And everyone's like, the Mets are going to get Ohtani. The Yankees are going to want Soto. For what? For who? We got nothing to trade. We're going to trade Brian Beatty, who got smashed in the face with a pop-up he couldn't catch, bounced off the dirt and hit him in the head.
Last night's game, I was watching it. They were up like
They were trying to lose.
They were trying to. They were. I mean, they were up by like 6 or 7 runs.
11-4, Mike.
Yeah.
11-4. They lost. They won 11-10 and
lucky.
almost blew the game.
I know. It's not.
They got David Robertson as their closer. Now I know Diaz was supposed to be, and he got hurt in the World Baseball thingamajiggy, but they got no bullpen either. They got nobody. Buck is sitting there. Like I tell you, Buck is a shell of Buck. He's not Buck.
He's not Buck of last year for sure.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah. Billy Epler, again, he's another guy. He should get fired too. He brought all these guys in. Now, Steve Cohen says, yeah, we'll pay for him. But you brought him in, Billy. You're the one. Steve Cohen did not say, I want, all these guys. He let you be in charge of baseball operations. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
So.
And that's why, like you said, Vin, for the Yankees, you can't blame Steinbrenner. It's a Cashman issue.
Of course. But you got to blame – see, here's where I blame Steinbrenner is not getting rid of this guy. Give him an extension last year. Like, what was – where was he – where did he earn an extension? Why? Because they made it again to the playoffs, and they have Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge, and I mean – Where did he deserve any kind of extension? When? It's like Volpe, right? I want the kid to hit. I want him to bat 260, 270. He's been hitting a little bit better. But when I see the constant, struggles and not being, a super grade A fielder and all those little things. And again, young guy, but he hasn't shown to me that he's going to be a superstar at shortstop and that he's going to be the next big thing. He's going to, no one's going to be Derek Jeter, but at least be an all-star, be an all-star. I haven't seen it yet. So that's why the frustration comes when everybody starts crying and complaining, why are we trading top prospects? Well, if every single guy was a top prospect that was going to turn into a major league superstar, we'd have the combination of the 27 and 98 Yankees combined together, right? We'd win 150 games, maybe about 115, and we'd win every other, like, 20 games we'd win, right? Doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
Right. You can't rely on that. And you shouldn't put all your, eggs in one basket. That's the truth, as we see time after time.
Right now, Luis Castillo could be out here with Garrett Cole. We could have probably still signed Carlos Rodon. That rotation would be unbelievable right now. We wouldn't have to worry about hitting because no one could hit us.
Yeah.
But that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. Hopefully it changes. Maybe Joey Gallo will come back. He's still upset that he couldn't figure out why he couldn't play in New York.
I know. I love that when he said that.
I don't know why he couldn't play there. I'm like, well, when they asked you to hit the ball to left field and you said, no, I don't think I want to try that. Well, there's your problem, Joey. Your problem is you won't adapt yourself to something different, right? Listen, we get it. You can slug the ball left and right out of the park, but you gotta, sometimes you gotta make some adjustments. Hit the ball once in a while to left field. It's okay. Nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with a single to left field, especially when there's guys on second and third and one.
In this case, there's nothing wrong with a bunt.
Jeez.
Something.
I tell you see that kid on the Reds, Dela Cruz, the guy who's second, third, and home in the same inning? That's a prospect, Mike. That's the guy. 6'5", lefty, runs like Deion Sanders.
He does it all.
Runs like Deion, hits like Griffey, That's the guy. Ronald Acuna is going to hit 50 home runs and steal 100 bases this year. Some like crazy numbers he's going to put up. He's going to be the first guy to hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bases. He's going to be a 50-50 guy. Look at Ohtani. He's got 7 triples.
He is.
No one hits a triple anymore. He's got 7. These are the guys.
Yep.
But don't worry, we got them all coming up. We got
Don't worry. Just wait.
And everyone, automatically, every team wants our prospects. So don't worry, we can make any trade we want come July 31st. Any trade. We have zero value here. So what are you most excited about besides Aaron Rodgers with the Jets? So before we finish up the show here.
Yeah, so just getting to see this core work with Aaron Rodgers, getting to see, it was such a disappointment, Vinny, with Breece Hall last year, right?
Yeah.
So, having him and just seeing what a core group of people could do with a good quarterback. And I'm not one of these people who are going to trash Zach Wilson. I was definitely disappointed with him. I hope he gets another opportunity somewhere. But now you have someone that is a veteran quarterback that could really lead these guys. And that's the difference with these teams, Vinny, that over the years, they haven't had cores. They lacked receivers or running backs, or it just wasn't there. And now it is. You have the core, you have the unit. So we'll see what happens. That's what I'm most excited about. That's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, no, I got you.
You know what's going to be cool also, seeing Randall Cobb, who came from Green Bay, playing with Aaron Rodgers, right? Those guys, Garrett Wilson, right? I mean, Corey Davis. You have so much talent on this team. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, all those guys, right? A lot of depth. A lot of depth there.
A lot of depth.
So, all right. I think Zach Wilson has an opportunity here to see exactly the way Aaron Rodgers does things.
Mentor.
And figure out this is what I should have been doing the last few years and just pick it up because, Rodgers, we know he's here this year. We don't know what he's doing next. We really don't. And then the year after that, he's probably not going to be here no matter what.
He could really change his persona because he had what killed him last year was that press conference.
Oh, after the New England.
Robert Saleh is a player's coach.
Yeah.
And the way he just said he didn't take accountability, that's what ruined him. So now he has a chance to redeem himself. You know what? Take a step back, learn from Aaron Rodgers, be respectful. And I think that stuff, will he gain all the credibility back right away? Of course not. But at least people will see wow, he's listening. He may get an opportunity somewhere else. But if he continues to be arrogant or just show immaturity, he's not going to land somewhere else. So it's a big year for him too.
Yeah, and remember, Alan Lazard is there also. I know you said Cobb, but Lazard is probably going to be the one with Wilson 1A and vice versa, right? So that's going to be a nice little 1-2 there.
Yeah.
And then we'll see who else gets fill in the blanks as the season goes on. So I'm excited. Football's here. Our bets, our fantasy teams, all that stuff is coming on top of, our own teams and who's going to be the surprise team, this year. There's always somebody that'll shock you. Who's going to be a team that we thought was going to be good that's not going to be good? Is the AFC East, the top division in the NFL, or is it the AFC North, right? We had that discussion.
It's so stacked.
So the AFC itself,
So excited.
It's coming. It's here. 50 days, the 50-day countdown. All right, Mike. July is here. We got a show in. I think we'll get a show in next week, hopefully. I don't see why not. The week after, I'm back out on vacation, so we'll have to regroup in early August. But by that time, training camps will have been broken. They'll report to preseason. Hall of Fame game will be played. The first preseason game will be played, and then we'll be back on multiple shows. And before you know it, episode 100. We're trying to plan it. If we can work it out, I think we got to just do the math. The plan is episode 100 to be a Monday. when the Jets play the Raiders, right?
Be special. Be
right?
special.
Monday night. So we're trying to plan it. So we can do a live pre-show. I'll be there in full Raiders gear, including makeup and everything, you know.
Will you be dancing?
Of course, with our new music.
Well, no other way.
Hopefully, we won't be on our 5th theme song in 5 weeks by then.
Hey, this theme song that we have now, we're keeping. Okay.
All right. I want to make sure. You know, I'm gonna, you know, the Vin and Mike funk. You know.
Yeah. Look at TV shows that go through different themes. We're just trying to
I gotta
figure out our way here.
Where I jump in on the song. You know, I like to jump in at a certain point. You know, but I want the music to continue to be part of the show.
Absolutely.
By the way, Matt Carl saying Sauce Gardner is for him right there. That's who he wants. That's who he's happy about.
Yeah.
Big Jets fan, you know, big Celtics fan. I wonder how he's feeling about Porzingis. You know, I know when
he took a deep breath on him. At first, he was
when we had him on the show, he was very happy about it.
Yeah.
You know, now I want to know how he feels.
No, he still feels okay. He feels good.
Yeah. Okay.
Time will tell.
I want to see when
he calls me the biased Knick fan because of him. Yeah, I am going to be biased what he did.
I want to see when the ankle twists how he feels.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Matt. I tell you, Karl Anthony Towns will still be a Knick. All right, Mike.
All right, Vin. Have a good week.
We'll resume next week.
You got it. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
Again, I got a script. Whatever.
You'll do it next week.
One of these days.
All right. Thanks, all.